entrepreneur, it can be really, really frustrating when you have those days where everything's going wrong, people are missing appointments, things are breaking down, right? So we know systems and having procedures can help, but sometimes you just gotta come up with a better way to roll with challenges. Hi, I'm Melanie Benson Strick, and I'm a business optimizer and a profit strategist for visionary entrepreneurs and thought leaders and people who have a really big mission that they want to accomplish on this planet. And I was thinking a lot about this lately, this idea of how do you really move through days where things are really challenging? And we all have them. You know, I've been in this business for 15 years now. And there isn't one day or one conversation or one get together with friends who are other successful leaders in this industry where we don't talk about something that's gone wrong. And, it's interesting because many times that frustration, when we get caught up in the things that are going wrong, can really take you out of the game, and it can cause you to question if you're going the right direction, or it can cause you to lash out and react and handle things in a way that really causes things to get worse instead of better. So I've been working with this for a long time because as a younger person, especially back in my corporate days, I really found myself often in reaction, possibly because I very much like things to be structured. I resonate when things are in flow. And, I would get very confronted when things didn't go the way I had planned. So I had to do a lot of work on that in the first place. But in the second place, I found that there's actually an attitude and a mindset that can go really far to helping you actually get to the results you want, actually be able to get to the level of efficiency and smooth flowing that we are intending for by simply changing our mindset and the way we react, or maybe I should say respond to these situations. So maybe the first idea that we should cover here is that human nature and human beings, by just the sheer fact that we are susceptible to foibles, there's always going to be problems that we can't plan for. There's always going to be situations that happen, whether it's people letting you down, missing appointments, assistants not getting things right, technology that doesn't work when you need it to, right? There's just a whole plethora of things that can go wrong in any given day. And I've had one of those days actually where a lot of those things were happening. And at first, my gut reaction is oftentimes to go, all right, this is a mess. And, you come down on somebody and say, all right, let's fix it. Or you get frustrated and you kind of want to be, in that energy, because that's what's natural for many of us. So what I've noticed that many entrepreneurs do when they're having that thing that's confronting them is they react, they blame, they freak out, they yell, right? They jump on somebody and fix it. As a matter of fact, I was just watching the Steve Jobs movie the other night. And, if he wanted something to be a certain way, he basically pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed people to get things the way he wanted. And oftentimes there was a lot of mean-spirited energy behind that. Well, what we can learn from anybody who's been in that space is that doesn't really get you where you want to go. It might make you feel better in the moment. It might get an immediate thing handled, but it's not really a long-term success strategy. So what is the better way? Well, there's a few things you can try. And first of all, you got to change your mind. You got to shift and upgrade the mindset from one of being reactionary to being a responder. And to ask yourself, is it worth it to find a better way to respond? I like to use the response of ease and grace. Okay, so really thinking about how could I respond to this in a graceful way so that I can create a harmonious approach to getting the results I want. And what it does is it stops me from being reactionary and blaming. And, oftentimes it's like some of us just jump to conclusions that, okay, this is what's really wrong. And actually, that's not what's wrong. So if the first step is to stop and respond more effectively, to say, all right, I got to respond to this gracefully so that I don't go sideways and I can really get to the bottom of this. Then the second step would be ask for clarification. What is really going on? Instead of assuming you know what's happening and blaming somebody or something that you jump to conclusion about, take a step back and ask, where's the problem from your point of view? And what do we need to do differently to get to a better result? And that might actually be step 3, which is, all right, so now we've got to find out what has to be in place. Do we need to fix technology? Are we missing a system? Do we have the wrong person handling this? Was I not clear? Which, by the way, almost always there is a piece that the entrepreneur or business owner or leader is not clear about what they really needed or wanted. So you have to go into the diagnostic of, all right, where is the real problem? And what do we need to be able and willing to do differently to get a better result? So I think the key here is to be aware of your own reactions and your own behaviors. One of the things that I've heard over the years from a lot of the different support teams that I've counseled or coached or worked with is that, the person on the other end, their client, when they're blaming them and they're getting negative and freaking out on them, that doesn't really get anybody anywhere. And all it does is it puts the people on the other end in a shameful place. So one of the reasons that I really believe that doing that self-check and saying, how could I be more graceful here? How could I move through this with ease and not lose my mind? And starting with taking responsibility for our reactions is that you're going to get to better results faster, because everybody problem solves more effectively when they're not being made wrong, but they're shooting towards a co-created solution together. Now, let's just take this to a whole nother level. And that is, you have to actually ask yourself, is this a pattern? Are things always going wrong? Are things always breaking down? And is there always drama? Because that's actually a sign that there's something else that's more deep-seated at stake. And so oftentimes what that means is you're pushing yourself way too hard all the time. You're pushing your team way too hard, and everybody's pushed up against the wall, and there's no space to actually get things done right. So it could be worth exploring if maybe your business operations, the way you're driving results, is causing unnecessary breakdowns. And it could also be that you may be addicted to drama, or that someone on your team is addicted to drama. And believe it or not, human beings can be addicted to drama. That's why there's so many great dramas on TV. That's why there's so many mysteries and horror films and all that out there in the world, which I don't really like horror films, but I do like a good drama. And that's because as a human being, oftentimes there's something that we experience in drama that gives us a hit. And sometimes we can get good at not dealing with certain situations because on some level, there's a part of us that really feeds off that drama. So there may be some unconscious things going on as the leader of this business that is causing a pattern of things not going right. So being willing to go deeper and find out what's really going on underneath can create a lot of breakthroughs and a lot of shifts in the way you run your business. And that's one of the things that I do is I help my clients figure that out and remove the barriers, the bottlenecks, and the breakdowns that are causing them so much pain in running their business. So I hope this tip has given you some insight and maybe even a new approach to dealing with things when they're not going right. And maybe we can just leave with this one thought, that how you respond to the problems in your world is actually going to drain you and cause you to be really frustrated and stressed all the time, or it's going to be information that will help you get better at your business. The last thing you should do is personalize it and make it mean something that it doesn't mean. Take it as the information that it is, use it as a tool, and if it's a pattern, deal with where the root of the pattern is so you can dissolve many of these disruptions that keep you from doing the work that you were born to do. All right, well, I'll really be looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments on this week's episode of Power Up Podcast. I love the inner game. It is so exquisitely complicated and yet so simple, because your thoughts and the way you handle those thoughts and those ideas and those issues in your life are either going to set you up for massive success or break you down. Love to hear your thoughts on the show page at melaniebensonstrick.com. We'll see you again next week for another great episode of Power Up Podcast. Bye for now. If you're a small business owner working way too much in your business, then you're not really putting your business to work for you. And you could benefit greatly by learning how to develop a team of world-class players to help you accomplish more and literally free you up to get more done. Now, we all want to shatter our income goals. We all want to be able to accomplish much greater results. But it's really difficult to do if you don't know how to delegate masterfully and be able to get the right things off your plate to the right people who will really get things done. That's where the power of the virtual team comes in. Be sure to get your copy right now at virtualteamebook.com.